Hey again, this is my response to a thread started here on YouTube by a guy named Norman Maslow, otherwise known as Mazzy. He started this thread where he asked people to show their top 10 Jesus songs, basically 10 things from our collection that have songs with the word Jesus in the title. Of course, I'm not going to show any gospel or Christian records because that would be too easy, right? So here we go. Number one is this box set released by my favorite band Devo in 2017. It was called Recombo DNA, 4-record set. And there's one song on this record called I Saw Jesus. There it is right there. And I Saw Jesus was written in 1979 by Devo. They performed it on a show called Fridays in 1981. It was like a late night Saturday Night Live style show. And the lyrics basically talk about Jesus being in this guy's soup. He sees Jesus in his soup and he realizes that Jesus is everywhere. And I saw that on TV when I was a kid in 1981. It blew my mind. It blew my formerly Catholic mind. So there's number two. Here's number two, actually. Hypocrisy with their album Penetralia. This is a death metal, black metal band. This came out in 1992. And there's a song on here, you probably can't see it here, maybe you can, called Jesus Fall. Jesus Fall. And so there you have some brutal heavy metal. Next up, not brutal heavy metal, but brutally ridiculous. This CD, Butts Taking Craps. This came out in 1997. There's a song on here by a band called Sockeye. That's called More Songs About Jesus and Dildos. And that is on this ridiculous release by my friends Sockeye. And there's also another band on here called That One Band. So it's a split CD, really hard to find and really ridiculous. So there we go. Next up, this is a band called Coklacoma. And they have an album here called Kokla Pop, which came out in 1998. This is members of Severed Heads teaming up with other people to make some really cool kind of industrial beat, sample, tape loop, dance, cool experimental stuff. I'm a big fan of Severed Heads. They're from Australia. They were kind of a really noisy industrial band in the early to mid 80s. They kind of went more into a dance beat direction, but still everything that Tom Ellard, aka Severed Heads, does, I really get into. So this is Coklacoma, and the song on here that makes this worth showing in this video is called Everybody in Birmingham Ignores Jesus. And you'll see the track listing there. Everybody in Birmingham, can you believe that? So that is number 4. Now, next, and I'm not going to be able to show this entire cover. It's a pretty disturbing cover. It's by a band called Dahmer. Of course, named after the murderer, and this is brutal grindcore metal, and pretty funny. There's supposedly the band photo right there of Dahmer, and the song on this is called Adolfo de Jesus de Constanzo. I can't say it right, but there's the song right there. But yeah, brutal grindcore metal. Really hard to find record. Came out in 1998, and that's what I would call difficult listening. Next up, Mojo Nixon and Skid Roper debut album came out in 1985. I saw these guys around this time perform in a small club in Charlotte, North Carolina called the Milestone, and they were really good. It was just Mojo here on his guitar and singing, and Skid Roper here on the washboard thingamabob here, and it was really cool to see those guys perform back then. And the song on here that I'm referring to in this video is Jesus at McDonald's. I saw Jesus at McDonald's at midnight. Bow, bow, bow. Yeah, it's a great song. This whole album rules. I've been looking for this album on CD for many years. Would love to find that. But yeah, Mojo Nixon, the Skid Roper. Next up, I've got this compilation of jazz vocal song called Pot, Spoon, Pipe, and Jug. It's all about drugs and alcohol. Lots of songs about drugs and alcohol. And there's a song on here called Plastic Jesus. You might be able to see it right there, Plastic Jesus. And it's by an artist named Mantanuska Thunderbuck. Mantanuska, I can't even pronounce it, but you know, this is a great record. I've had it since I was in college. Really great stuff. I don't remember what year this came out, but it's on the kind of fairly well-known label Stash there. They put out a lot of drug-related records. So there's that one. Next up, oh, this is a nice one. Lydia Lunch. This is her history release. It's a couple records in here and a bunch of bands that she was in through her early career. And Beirut Slump is the band that I'm going to refer to for this video. There's a song on here called I Am the Lord Jesus. This is basically a no-wave record. 1979 was when the Beirut Slump song was recorded, but this record was released in '86. And Lydia Lunch, if you don't know who she is, look her up. She's quite an interesting person, and she does some great brutal stuff like Teenage Jesus, Eight-Eyed Spy. This stuff is great, kind of no-wave, punky stuff. So check that out. All right, only 2 to go. Here's Warlock Pinchers with their 1991 album, Circus-Sized Peanuts. And they're from Colorado. They're kind of I think they advertise themselves as a satanic metal rap band. So satanic rap metal band. I can't remember how exactly they worded it. But this album has a song on it called Jesus on the Urinal Cake. You can see it right there, track number 3. Brilliant album, great song, really fun stuff. Warlock Pinchers, I'm a big fan. Let's see here, cool little chicken with a roll in its butt insert there. So there's another Jesus song for you. And finally, this was the first thing that came to mind when I thought of Jesus songs that I'm familiar with. And it was on this album that I first heard it, Let Them Eat Jelly Beans. It's a compilation that's put out by Alternative Tentacles. It's got a lot of stuff like Dead Kennedys and Black Flag and Bad Brains and Circle Jerks. And there's one song on here. Now this album came out in '81. There's one song on here that was originally released in 1980 by a band called Feeders. And on the album, you can see there, it's called Jesus Entering from the Rear by the Feeders. And when it was originally released in 1980, I think the song was just called Jesus. And here's a 1983 repress of the single of Jesus Entering from the Rear. And there he goes. I hate him and I want him dead. Great, funny cover art here. But yeah, this song, Jesus Entering from the Rear, is such an intense song. I think it's got the best scream I've ever heard a vocalist do on this record. It's such a screechy, blood-curdling scream on Jesus Entering from the Rear. I think you should hear it. And thank you again, Mazzy, for starting this thread. I really had a great time looking through my collection for these Jesus songs. Thank you, everybody, for the subscriptions. Thank you, everybody, for the likes. May the rock and roll gods bless you as they have blessed me. Take care.